Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 1,250 of what? Oh, 51. 51. Another day. 1,251 of What's She Up To Now. Documenting the journey as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. And I think I've said that in 2021, I'm going a little bit more back and forth. Putting some, feelers or veins out into and participating in more offline businesses. I think that there is a lot of work that needs to be done to re-energize our economy, to recharge our world in several different industries and areas, and I want to be a part of that. Since I've got that experience, those skills and abilities, I think that it's time at least that I get out and I share some of that information, share some of those skills and talents, and help to create and re-energize certain businesses and certain business types in certain industries that have definitely been negatively impacted by the COVID pandemic. The whole, I want to just call it the nonsense of 2020. I think we're going to look back, and it's interesting, 2020 vision. I thought it would be the year of vision and all these interesting things and seeing things and creating things into the future, and it turned out to be pretty much just the opposite. Instead of opening things up and opening people's eyes, it pretty much shut everybody down, put blinders on them, and stop them in their tracks. All bad things in my book. So today, it's a holiday weekend here in the USA. It's our birthday tomorrow. Today is the 3rd, so tomorrow is July 4th, our Independence Day. And people are definitely celebrating differently this year than they did last year. Last year, everything was shut down. No fireworks displays in cities, no gatherings, no carnivals and communities and things, and we usually do in our small towns in America. But ours in the town I live in is called Booster Days. Booster Days are back with all the fun and craziness and carnivals and gatherings and bingo and races and parades that we're used to. And I for one say thank goodness, because we need people. We need other people in our lives. We need to come together in positive ways, not negative ways, and celebrate all of the amazing things that it means to be an American. Not what the media portrays, not what social media portrays, not all the nonsense that politicians portray, but what it's really like to be American, because it's totally different than what you see on the news and see in the media. People are not at each other's throats. They're not fighting. They are not having white rage. They're not having rioting and clashes over sexuality, gender, ethnic background, any of that. I mean, and does it happen? Yes, it happens everywhere in the world. But it's not this huge nonsense that the media portrays it to be or paints it to be. So, thinking about that today. And our idiom for Supersize Your Business was how to think for yourself. How do you think for yourself to grow and supersize and build your business? Thinking for yourself, of course, comes and stems from the whole concept of freedom of thought. And as human beings, one of the amazing things about us that other creatures and other life forms don't have is the cognitive ability, the ability to think for ourselves, form our own opinions, do our own evaluation, ask our questions, do our own analysis, and come to our own conclusions. And it's imperative now more than ever, in my opinion, that we all step up, stand up, and think for ourselves. Think about and analyze the things that we hear and see and are told, especially from the media. I've always been, since the 1980s, I gave up watching the media, and I'm so grateful that I did. And I adopted the philosophy of thinking for myself, investigating, finding the information that I need to find out, and considering the source, always considering the source of information, whether it's a book or a magazine article or a paper or an online website or social media or the online, television media. Always consider what is their reason for slanting or portraying a story or information the way that they do, because there's always a reason. All of us have intentions, and we need to have a filter on us that says, okay, well, why was this story shared this way? Why are we seeing this story right now? What does this have to do? The most important thing is, well, what does this have to do with me, and what do I think about it, and do I even need to spend or waste any of my time and energy thinking about it? There are huge topics and segments I spend zero time and energy thinking about these days because I know they're so manipulated and colored and turned into propaganda by other people, other entities for their own benefit. And it's not for my benefit, therefore I choose not to participate. I choose not to watch the news. I choose not to go on certain online information sites because I know that their information is inaccurate, filtered, and censored so that they only show people what they want to show people. That is not thinking for oneself. That is not freedom of thought, and that is, in my opinion, not American at all. Anyway, off on a strange tangent of thinking for yourself. I feel like for the last year and a half, I have been beating the drum of think for yourself, think for yourself, think for yourself, consider the source. Does that make sense? And even if it is presented in a way that makes sense, what does it mean to you? How does it impact you, your family, your business, your livelihood, your peace of mind? And what are you going to do with that information? A lot of times our answer should be in one ear, out the other. Not going to do anything with it. Not even going to listen to it. Turn it off. Remember to feed your mind what's important for you. Always be working on creating your life, creating the objectives and the goals that you want in your life. And if you're doing that, if you're on that track and focused on what it is that you want, your outcomes, and doing something every day to move you toward that, all of the other craziness and nonsense of the world just doesn't matter. Had a taste of that yesterday. Other people's drama doesn't have to be my drama. It can just play out on the sidelines, and I do not have to engage in it or participate in it in any way, shape, or form. Our idiom was, again, think for oneself. And I am going to admit I didn't have an idiom this morning. It was up till I normally go to bed last night, or this morning rather. And so I didn't, yesterday was with family and friends from out of town, so I did not pre-plan my idiom. And I'm kicking myself, and I'm reminding myself that I do it the night before for a reason, or I do it the day before for a reason. So if I think I'm not going to get to bed on time tonight, I will make sure that I plan my idiom as soon as I'm done with my videos today. Because I like to be at least a little prepared. I like to have thought out and be thinking for myself. And that includes, for me, a little bit of preparation time for certain things. Not a ton. It's pretty much an impromptu share every day. But I do like to look it up, on I want to say Google, but Google has got it's one of those examples of filtered, censored, not necessarily you can believe what you see right off the bat, media outlets right now. And so we have to think for ourselves. I have to think for myself. I actually did my research for thinking for yourself on 2 different search engines because I got entirely different results and answers based on the search engine that I use. And that reminds me that Google is censoring and filtering and using AI or bots or however they do it with their algorithms to show certain information to certain people based on what they want to, based on their goals and objectives, what they want to achieve. The other search engine that I use is doing the same thing, but filtering differently so we get different results. That gives me an opportunity to think for myself by seeing at least 2 different groups of information before I form any opinions or decide or think about what does this mean to me. So our annual challenge this year is to do one thing every day that centers us from the Soul Journal book. And today's was about fate chooses your relations, you choose your friends. And so we are sharing relations and relationships that we're really grateful that fate brought in our path today. Or not necessarily today, maybe it's past, but I'm thinking of relatives that I got to see yesterday that I'm so grateful that they're in my life. So that was our annual challenge. I guarantee I will not be doing much work this weekend because it is a holiday weekend, and last year was so focused on work and adding value and providing value and keeping moving, getting up and going and keeping moving. Which reminds me, the next Get Up and Go challenge will be August 1st through 31st. We will do the 8th free 30-plus day Get Up and Go challenge. If you want any information about that, you can message me directly. I hit a button on Facebook today that says you can message directly. So I want to remind you that you can always message me directly. Not always, but on this particular video you can. So if I can help you anyway, if you have any questions that you're struggling with, I remember first coming online, one of my biggest frustrations was not really having anyone to ask. Hadn't built a team, didn't really know very many people. It was a totally new industry, totally different thing. And I could call my offline friends and contacts and network, but I didn't really have anybody online, with the exception of a couple of amazing people that I could just, phone a friend and ask for a little bit of help and a little bit of guidance. And so I like to be that resource for people. Luckily, not very many people take me up on it. I guess if a bunch of people just started contacting me, I would probably stop making that offer. But it doesn't take but a few seconds or a minute or two to help somebody get focused to know what the next thing they need to do is, and then get you moving and get you into momentum again. All right, have an awesome day. I'm going to go hang out with some amazing relatives and friends this weekend. I invite you to do the same. I, of course, will be with you tomorrow just to update on what I'm doing or not doing with respect to my businesses this weekend. Have a great day.